My name is Awilda Sanchez.
What is your relationship with technology?
Ooh, it's bittersweet. I think I've learned just having to do it. I had, at school, they gave me a new computer. It's like, okay, here's your computer. That was it. I was used to the laptop, and I sort of been working with that for, 6 years. But the new one, it was just like, okay. I'm like, oh, lovely. So it took a while to be able to figure it out. Like, I was amazed that I found even the on button.
What is your level of comfort with technology?
I'm a little bit more comfortable now. The practice of having to use it every day. I remember the first time I think I used a computer, I was a Vista volunteer with HAP Housing, when they were HAP Housing, and they asked me to put some things on a list. Oh my God, that took me like a day and a half. Oh, I was so sad. It was so sad. So that was my first introduction to the computer world. And then I went off and I got a training to one of those career centers. I think they gave us a week and they sent me to Holyoke, I remember, and I went every day and I learned. They kept giving me a diploma every day for what I had mastered that day. It was lovely. So I went up with 5 pieces of paper, and I said, okay, if you think I pass, I pass, and that was it.
How much of technology is used in your life?
I prefer to be on the computer as little as possible. I like people. I like that contact. I work for the public schools. I work for elementary school in my neighborhood where I've lived for 30 years. So I know a lot of the parents, the kids. So most of my day I spend running around. But for certain things I have to use a computer, like especially during COVID, we had to do like, I don't know if you're familiar with the IEPs, and so I do a lot of that translation. So it was very challenging because when I'm in person, I can see the person's eye and I can see that what I'm saying is, they might be getting it, or they might, at least I have a sense of where the parents are at. Over the phone, forget it, or the computer is like, oh, okay, hopefully she learned and understood. You know what I'm saying? That I need that other part. I need to be able to see people and read them and see if they're comfortable with whatever I'm explaining, because some of these things are very technical, especially there's a lot of medical stuff involved in IEPs and whatever. So.
What are the biggest barriers accessing technology?
Well, I think money, for one thing. Like, it wouldn't be, if you have extra money, I would have, I stuck to the flip phones. I was the only last person to get a regular phone. I couldn't afford it, and it wasn't just a priority. But I do think it's costly. Like, again, if the need to use it, if it's not, something that you really need, why invest in it when, there's other things that are more important.
How did you connect with your healthcare provider?
Okay, during, I don't know if you were aware that I was going treatments for cancer, so that cannot be done over the phone. That had to be in person, and we continued that, but then we changed to doing it every 6 months, and I just, lucky that I was done with the basic treatments, because that couldn't be done through phone. My personal care physician, he has called up, and they give me appointments. I don't ask for them, and the last one was for like 7:30 at night. Listen, I'm a pumpkin after 6. That's it. Like, you want to talk at that time? Find someone else. So I forget. I miss it. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I want to be able to see him. I trust my doctor. I go to the High Street Clinic, and I really think that, I'm happy with him, but I want to see him in person.
Can remote help you connect with your healthcare provider?
No, I don't think so. I have not had one appointment with him yet. I just keep missing it. I don't know. I don't want to do that. I'd rather wait till I talk to him. Hopefully there's, I'm not putting my health at risk.
What is the value of going remote?
Well, I think that if I were at a point where I was very sick, that a trip to the doctor was very inconvenient. I think it was nice to have that, but I personally prefer in person. I'm sorry, I just don't. use any of that other. I don't want to do technology with my doctor.
How can healthcare improve through remote?
I don't know, because I don't know. He can't, I can tell him I have a temperature, but he wouldn't be able to tell. He can't take my blood pressure. He has to take my word for it. And what I find is that you're just not going to get the story. I mean, there's a lot to say when you see someone in person. I mean, you can tell, their color sometimes. You can tell if they're depressed. I mean, you just can't see that with technology. I just don't know how that's going to work. But maybe for other people, but I don't. I need the in-person doctors and healthcare providers.
How was the experience participating in the Wayfinders program?
What I participated was in someone teaching us through. I didn't have the Chrome tablet. I used the regular computer, and they were teaching us. Well, first they wanted to know where you were at, and for me, I remember sitting in meetings, and they would say, in the Zoom meetings, they would say introduce yourself to the chat. And I'm like, okay. And nothing's coming out of me because I did not know. And at one point, my grandson, who's 7, said, oh, well, this is the emojis. If you press this button, you get an emoji. And I'm like, oh, I learned something. But the person who helped with the literacy training, she was really excellent. She gave me a lot of information on YouTube's where you can go to shorter trainings for different things. And she showed me how to actually use the chat. I did not know how to do that. I got doing things with her one-on-one was very helpful, because it was like I wasn't sure that I really knew something, you think you know it, but you're not really sure. So she went over a lot of that. She was excellent. I mean, she was very patient, very informative. I really had Antonio and I were at the same class, and it was very helpful.